Boom! What's going on? It's your boy Jay Barabee here, and I have a red, a blue, and a black Expo dry erase marker because we're going to, I'm going to give you some training here on the 3 key elements to your database. Because in your database, this is where all the money's hiding, okay? Most agents are really good at relationships and service and build a business on their network, but don't properly systemize that in order to produce consistent and predictable income in their business over time. Okay. I was just talking to a top producer yesterday, and this person has sold over 1,000 homes, probably over 3,000 homes. I mean, we're talking about top producer. And this person is great at doing the cold calls and bringing in business that way, but not good at all at systemizing their database. And this is, if she wants to retire, and this was the conversation, if she wants to retire in the next 10 years, then she's going to need to start doing that. Because if not, I mean, that's just her bringing on new cold business. So let's focus on scaling that business and think about it this way, okay? And I will actually just write this down for you. I'll show it like this. So Change Agent Foundation. I'm going to put that there. The Change Agent Foundation, okay? It's not as pretty as it is in the other resources, and this is awful. That's going away. Actually, I'm not even supposed to be using this for that. That's why. That's what the problem is. It's these. That's why I got these. Because this is what I'm supposed to write with. Okay. The Change Agent Foundation training, what this is look at your business as your foundation. Okay, and then your sales. Okay, I guess I can look in the camera instead of the microphone. So you get your foundation, your sales, then you have your service and delivery. And then your repeat and referral business. Okay. Now, your repeat and referral business, this is what produces long-term income in your business. Okay? First, you have to be good at the foundation in your business, and that's your business planning, your mindset, your time, your leverage. You have to be good there. And then sales. Everybody wants more leads, more leads, more leads, but it's not just about getting more leads. It's about lead gen, lead nurture, and lead conversion. Okay, so you have to be able to nurture and convert as well. And then your next part is, well, you made a promise because you converted a listing, and now you have a listing, and now you have to service them. This is your promise. You have to service, you have to deliver on those services. And if you do that and you do that well, which most of you do, then you have to get repeat and referral business. And this is where your database comes in. All these pieces in your business, it's a cycle. Does it make sense? It's a cycle. Okay? And that cycle needs to be fulfilled, and you need to be strong or balanced in that cycle and be able to identify where you're not. So let's get into the database part. That's this right here, the repeat and referral. Here we go. Let's see. Does this stick? It sticks. You can't see it. So I don't know if you knew this, but woo, guess what? That's not real wood. What do you think about that? Ba-boom. All right. So database. Let's look at those 3 key elements. Okay. This is a big decision. I'm trying to figure out which marker I should use. That's a good problem to have, trying to figure out which marker to use. Okay. 3 keys to your database. Key number 1, okay, first, Most important thing to your database, most important thing is to add people to your database. You have to add people in, because if you're not adding people in on a daily basis, then it's just going to dwindle. So you need to be adding. And we all start somewhere, so don't get overwhelmed. That's really important. Don't get overwhelmed. All right, so here we go. Add to the database. So first, we're going to set a goal. You have to set a goal of what to add, of how many people to add, how many per day, okay? So set the goal to add X amount of people per day. Let's say in your business planning, you want one of your main goals, and if you haven't done the business blueprint yet, go do a business blueprint, because that is going to, and that's in the membership. So that will take you to where you need to be in setting your goals. So if one of your big goals is to have a database of 300 people in there by the end of the year, and you start with 100, well, then you break it down to how many that's going to be, and essentially figure that you'll be deleting, 2 or 3 a week. So set a goal of how many to add per day. Is it 3 or is it 5? Okay, maybe it's just 1. I don't know, but start somewhere. Don't make it so that it's too overwhelming, because if it's too overwhelming, you're not going to do it. Right? I know you're not. You're not going to do it if it's too overwhelming. Make it attainable. Let's just say 3 for now. Okay? 3. So if you set that goal, you're adding people to your database on a daily basis. Now, what's the second most important thing for your database? Okay? Second most important is going to be a whole new color. I know you're excited for that. And that is going to be to use it religiously, okay? And to use it consistently. And I'm going to give you the 3 main elements of what you need to use to make it the most simplistic thing on earth. Probably not the most simplistic thing on earth. I might have overpromised there, but it's pretty damn simple. So, use and use religiously or consistently. New color. All right, now this is the most loaded one here, to use consistently. And the reason why is because we get overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed with the amount of work that goes into adding people to the database and how to follow up with it. A lot of questions that I see is, what database should I get? What CRM should I get? Should it be Boomtown or ROI this or RealVolve or Top Producer or LionDesk? Whatever. There's a million solutions, and software companies, even outside of real estate, are starting to push their CRM products inside real estate because it's just a couple of small modifications to make it easy and user-friendly. So here's the answer to that question. And that question is, what database should I use? Here's the answer to it after this brief water hydration intermission. I know what you're thinking. Homeboy's running a little low. Hold on. I got backups. Your boy's going to be hydrated today. Okay. So using it consistently, there's too many databases out there. Whatever one you're going to use at the easiest, most basic level is what you need to be using. Whichever one you're going to use at the basic level. So don't buy into something that has all of these different integrations that you're never going to use. All this transaction management that you're never going to use. Get something simple to start off, just to start off. And then when you get to the point where you want to start adding other things, then you can look at a different CRM if the one you have doesn't do that. And then you can easily export and import those contacts into the new one. It's so easy, okay? What I recommend for you is RealVolve. RealVolve. My job is to give you the easy. That's the easy. Get RealVolve. and just use it at the basic level for now. So what is the basic level? That's the next question, isn't it? Okay. Contact info, but the contact info is only going to be 4 things. 3 things. Okay. Easy. Okay. Okay. 1. Contact. Name, phone, email. You might not be able to see that. Don't be upset with me. But it's name, phone, and email. Okay. That's it. Name, cell phone, and email. Okay. But after contact info, there's another key element that you must have, and that is notes. Okay? Notes. Notes. So important. Okay? So important. You write down notes of, because you're going to forget, especially as you add to this. Now, what most people do is they'll use their cell phone, like say you have an iPhone. They'll use their iPhone and then they'll go through it every once in a while. I mean, tell me if this sounds like you. You go through the cell phone every once in a while and you're like, oh, wow, I haven't called this person in a while. I should make a call and, see how they're doing. And essentially I'm asking for business in one way or another. Yeah, you don't have to do that. Okay, we're going to have a predictable, consistent format where you can follow up and gain that business, because you're not going to remember everything about people or the situation as time goes on. If it's a past client or if it's somebody whom you just spoke to that's a prospect, you're not going to remember all of these things. So it's important to take notes, and you take notes at every interaction, every time you call them, not just when you put it in, but in the systematic follow-up that I'm going to show you. Every single time you need to be in front of the computer, you have that conversation, you take a note and you put it in the database, and then you move on to the next. Okay? So, notes. So important. And then the third thing is fairly simple. Okay? It's fairly simple. It's tag and follow up. So tag and follow up. So I'm going to make it even more simple, and I'm just going to say, daily follow up, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so all right, you might not be able to see that, but it says tag and daily FU. FU is follow up. I've been using that for years. Okay, I'm not showing off right now. Been using that for years. Ask anybody who knows me. F/U means follow up. Tag and daily follow up. So what I mean by tag is you put someone in a database, and let's say it's RealVolve, for example. I get a new customer, okay, or a new prospect, or someone I know that knows, likes, and trusts me, or somebody who will just even remember my name if I call them again in the future. That's important, okay? That's how you know you're putting the right person in the database. Putting the wrong people in your database is going to give you the opposite effect. Does that make sense? Yes. I answered for you. Okay, so you put someone in the database, you put name, phone number, email address, then that's their contact info. You put in the notes, okay? Met this person at a networking event. They live in San Mirage, and they are an architect, and we talked about her sister, Karen. Something like that. I made that up completely off the cuff. Impressive. So you put that in there. Don't fill out any of the other fields in the CRM. Don't fill out any of the other fields. It'll get too overwhelming. Trust me. At this point, name, okay, first and last. So don't ask me the question, should I put in their last name? Dude, just put in their first and last. First and last, mobile, okay, the cell phone number, and then email address. I know I said it a million times, but I got to get it through your head. Just put that in. Then type notes. Okay. 1, 2. And now you got the name, phone, email, you got the notes. Now you set a tag. A tag is something that will put them in a category. And that category of, here's an example, center of influence, okay? Or past buyer, or past seller. These are different categories. Don't have too many. Make it as simple as possible. But if you need to have a quick reference or pull up an organized list of past sellers, for example, then you can pull them up and it's nice and easy. So start fresh, start clean. That's how you do that. Past buyer, past seller, that kind of thing. So you tag, and then the daily follow-up with that is every day. And this is important, okay? This is important. So important, pay attention. Every day, you have to have time scheduled to follow up in your database. And I'll give you an example of what that looks like. So you tag them, and you, by the end of the day, okay, so at the end of the day, you have to have everybody who you were planning to put in your database, you have to have them in your database. So say that's 3 or 5 people, and you weren't in front of the computer when you were meeting all these people, or when you were talking to them on the phone, maybe you were, but they have to be in the system, in your database by the end of the day. Because that is going, if you don't, then that's going to cause things to get to compile on top. And then all of a sudden, it's 4 days later, you have 20 people you have to put in your database. You can't do it. You have to do this on a daily basis. If not, it's going to get overwhelming and you're not going to do it. Okay? Don't let that happen. Okay? It's your job to not let that happen. So you put people in on a daily basis. Now, it's a brand new day. I'm coming in the office, and I need to look at my CRM, and I have to do this in the morning, and I have to see what follow-up activities I have, okay? And now, this is where we're going to get into the third thing that's important, which is the follow-up, okay? The follow-up. New marker time. Okay. I'm going to go black so that I can make sure you guys see this. Okay, so for the follow-up, we're talking about short-term and long-term. And the short-term is the most important because let's say you put somebody in your database that's not, it's not a hot lead, okay? But it's somebody that you know that, let's say I met somebody at an event, and they said, yeah, you know what, we are thinking about moving, and we're thinking about moving in about 6 months or so, because we have a dog that's getting older or something like that. I don't know, whatever. But the point is, there's a need for a call after that, okay? Now, here's the beautiful thing. At the end of the day, you put that person into your CRM, and you set a follow-up for the next day, okay? Now, the next day, you can do whichever you want, but do one of these. Either send them a card if you have their address. If you don't, who cares? I told you not to get it in the first place. Send them a text message. Send them an email, okay? But probably don't call them in that type of situation. But give them some type of communication that says, you know what, it was great meeting with you. It was awesome meeting with you. You're such a cool person, and I look forward to getting to know you in the future. In the meantime, if you need anything, let me know how I can help you. Talk to you soon. Whatever, something like that. That goes a long way, and it should take you less than 2 minutes to do. Don't overcomplicate that, okay? So now you have that step. Now, what you do is you set the follow-up. You did that follow-up. You set that for the morning, and you did it. Now, you have to take that and you have to set a follow-up call for let's say a month down the road. Because if they were talking about 6 months making some type of decision, you contact them in a month, and you set that up on your CRM so that when you log in on a daily basis, okay, you should always have your CRM open. When you log in on a daily basis, you can see your activities for that day. You need to see your activities for that day. And when you see your activities for that day, you know what you need to do. Now, you send that email, let's say, you type in the note, send them an email, whatever, and then you set the next follow-up for a month. So now, when it's, say, June 22nd, you come into the office, it's right in front of you, follow-up pops up, and it says, call this person. You look at the notes, you see what happened in the past, and you need to call. And then at this point, you know what to say, and you know what that outcome should look like. And then you use your scripts, and you use that conversation. But that's how that follow-up goes. And then at that point, if there's something that is not going to happen for another couple of months, well, whatever. Then you set another follow-up appointment, another follow-up call for whenever. But the main thing here is, at the end of the day, by the end of the day, all of your follow-ups, all of your tasks for that day to follow up need to be completed. Because if not, if you have 6 follow-up calls and you don't complete those because you don't get to them, okay, well, they're timely. You put them on that date for a reason, so you have to get to them. You know why? Let me be honest with you. It's your job, okay? And let me repeat that. It is your job. Your job is to call people, talk to people, see people face to face in order to sell more homes. You can't sell homes without talking to people and seeing people. And when you spend too much time following up on servicing someone, okay, then you're probably spending too much time servicing. You need to spend more time in the database and in the sales part and in your follow-up part, okay? So does this make sense? Yes. So this is what you're doing. You're clearing it out at the end of the day. If you don't, 6, and then the next day you got 4, then the next day you got 3, you didn't clear them out. Now all of a sudden at the end of the week, same thing happened. You have like 22 calls for follow-ups that you have to make, and everything else goes to shit. And now your business is not moving in the direction that it's supposed to. Okay? That's your follow-up. And that's how you do it daily. Okay? Then there's only one other key component to that. So you get your FU, your follow-up. And that's the daily part. And then the only other component that I'm going to talk about right now LT, long term, okay? I'm going to give you the overview. We're not going to go into detail on this right now. It is in the Incel University, though. So the training is in there, under database. But for long-term follow-up, we're talking about not just your phone call follow-up that you schedule, but we're talking about the system that you have in place for your entire database. And that system should involve some type of video email newsletter, some type of phone call, at the minimum, okay? We sprinkle in different things in there. We sprinkle in postcards, we sprinkle in some text messages and or some other additional emails. It just depends. But at the very, very core, it should be at least video email newsletter and phone call. Now let's say that you're just getting started with video email newsletters. You don't have to do once a week, which you should be doing because they're only 2-minute videos. Okay, but let's just say that you're going to do 24 in a year. So roughly 2 a month. Well, no, it's exactly 2 a month. Duh. So 2 a month. Now you get your video email newsletter that goes out, super easy to do. That training's out there, and then there's your phone calls. So depending on the size of your database, that might be once a month, once every other month, or once a quarter. Okay, but those are very simple. When you make those phone calls, say you do it once a quarter, you print out your entire CRM. Okay, you print it out once a quarter. And then what you do is you just go through and you just check them off as you call them. But you have your database open at the same time so you can type notes in there. Okay, so that's your follow-up call system. And then your video email newsletter that you're doing twice a month. If you add in, you have 24. And let's say that you're calling 6 times a year, so once every other month. Then now you have 30 targeted interactions that are automatically scheduled for your database on an annual basis. Imagine how powerful that is, okay? And like getting business, systemizing your business so that you don't have to scroll through your iPhone and second guess yourself. It's really that simple. It's really that simple, okay? So those are the two components to the long term. I'm just going to call it minimum, at the minimum, calls and VEN, V-E-N, video email newsletters. Okay, so that's what it is. That's what we got. So number one, the 3 keys to your database. Number one, set goals and add a certain amount of people every single day based on your goals that you have. You have to add to your database. You have to. Okay. Step number 2, use it consistently. In order to use it consistently, well, it needs to be simple. Okay. It needs to be simple, right? You get the contact name, phone number, and email address. Okay. That's it. Just that. Don't put in any other stuff. It's going to be too complicated. You got to put in notes. Okay. And you have to tag them with a tag that we spoke about and have daily follow-up. And that daily follow-up, I don't mean with each individual. I just mean you have to follow up in the morning and you have to have your activities done by the evening, which also then leads into the follow-up. Follow-up, there's the daily that I spoke about there. If you have any clarity or need any clarity on that, let me know. Post something. And then your long-term, okay? Long-term is your calls, your video, email, newsletter. That's at the bare minimum. So to bring it back full circle, okay? You got your foundation, which you need your foundation for this because you have to have your plan for your database. So that's your plan. Whoa! Look at that. I got a marker on me. Sales, yes, this is also going to incorporate sales because you're talking to people. Service and delivery, this is going to give you that consistency, and your consistency will show with your clients. They will recognize this, and they will want more of that. You're servicing, you're delivering people, okay? And then I think we know where database lies completely, okay? That's it. That's the target. Boom, repeat and referral business. And that's what you will get. That's what you will get. This is your most valuable asset, the database. This is where you're going to make your most money. This is it. I mean, you can be that guy or that girl that just grinds the phone on cold leads all the time. And that's okay. I mean, you'll always make money, but you'll also always be tied to your business. You'll also always be working when you're on vacation. You will also always have a lot of headaches that you shouldn't have to have, okay? It's nice to have people call you for business, right? So, boom, what's up? That's what you got. That's where it is. Drop any comments down below, and I will be answering those. Boom, go get it. Get your database in order.